I love Mike Hanson Archives.
You're ready to run.
With the impeachment proceedings against President Bill Clinton, bombings in Iraq, enforcing UN sanctions, and recent revelations that Osama bin Laden might be preparing to attack American targets both here and abroad, you probably didn't notice one of the biggest changes to the American landscape ever. That's the closing down of some 22,000 gas stations nationwide. Now, on the surface, it would seem that these closings were due to EPA regulations originally passed in 1984, changed again in 86 and 88, which gave gas stations 10 years to either upgrade or replace their underground storage tanks, or USTs. The cutoff date, doomsday if you will, was December 22nd, 1998, just a couple of days before Christmas this year. By that date, all underground storage tanks for gas stations had to either be upgraded or replaced. Unfortunately, for a lot of gas station owners like this one, the tanks were not upgradable and they had to be replaced. Now, for different reasons, among them availability of contractors and of course the high price, some $110,000 according to the EPA's own estimates, 22,000 gas stations were not able to make the changes. That's some 40% of the market according to some estimates. So as you drive around these next few days, keep your eyes open. Take a look at all the gas stations that have closed down. Notice that the only ones left are the huge multinational corporations, the Mobiles, the Exxons, the Chevrons, Diamond Shamrock, 7-Eleven, all the big names. The mom and pops have been shut out. It's my opinion that this wasn't caused by some radical environmental agenda, that in fact radical environmentalists were used, once again, manipulated by multinational corporations, used so that these multinational corporations could get an even bigger stranglehold on the gasoline and oil market. Before all these changes, the big names, Mobil and Exxon and such, had 20% of America's market share. After this shutdown, they'll have roughly 80% of the market share.
My name is Tina Hale. I'm the owner here at the West Crossroads Shell Station. It's now Crossroads Auto Care Center because we no longer sell gas.
And that's what I'm here to talk about you today. Can you tell us, first of all, why you no longer sell gas, just in a nutshell?
It's 1998 EPA regulations. You either had to replace your tanks with the government-regulated tanks or pull your tanks and get out of the business.
And you chose to go ahead and get out of the business. Why exactly was that?
$90,000 to replace the tanks. It cost $15,000 to pull them and about $90,000 to replace them. So we chose not to do that because our gas ratio, we didn't sell enough gas to warrant.
To make it worthwhile.
Yeah, make it worthwhile for the $90,000.
And how many underground storage tanks did you have? That's what the EPA's fond of calling them, USTs or underground storage tanks. How many did you have total?
I had two, one 3,000 gallon tank, one 1,000 gallon tank, and an oil storage tank that had to be pulled as well.
And just those three tanks, that would have been about $90,000. Was that the best estimate you got, or was that the only one?
That's the only estimate you get. You don't really have a choice.
And now I was also reading too that TNRCC, who's really kind of the implementing agency here locally for this EPA regulation, had some grants and things like that available. Did you ever look into that or hear anything about that?
We did look into it. Bill Smith, who actually owns the property, looked into it, but it still wasn't worth his while to go ahead and replace the tanks.
And you said even though you couldn't just shut your pumps down and stop selling gas, can you talk a little bit about what specifically you had to do to just stop selling gas?
I had to put signs up and cut the tanks off and quit selling it altogether. You couldn't just shut the pumps down. They had to have everything cut off electrically and the lines pulled and the tanks pulled.
And so you had to empty out the tanks and then how did they dispose of those tanks? I mean, they didn't just take them down to the junkyard and throw them away, did they?
They put them on a trailer and they take them to wherever the EPA tests them, and the tanks have to be tested and destroyed because they're flammable. And then the ground has to be tested to see if there was any leakage, and that takes anywhere from 6 to 8 months before you can repave your drive.
I noticed that because we were looking over here, and we'll get some footage of that in a minute, that it's not repaved yet, and could you explain that in detail?
Well, simply because it takes 6 to 8 months for the testing of the ground to find out if there was any gas leakage at all into the ground. If there is, if they find any sign of that, the dirt will have to be replaced, pulled up, dug out, even dug bigger in the lot than it is now, and the dirt will have to be replaced.
So talking about they had to be dug up and replaced. Now, did you just put regular fill dirt in here? Did you have to buy some?
We put some fill dirt in. We put all the dirt and rock that came out when we had the tanks removed. Plus, we had to put fill dirt in to fill it up to the top. And until they test and I get the test results back, it will have to stay like this. And if they do find that there's contamination, they will dig out even further, probably another 5 feet out this way, and we'll have to take all of this dirt, whatever, I don't know what they do with this dirt, but we'll have to replace it.
And of course, who pays for that?
We do.
Of course. And gas station, you recently upgraded these tanks. Now, we're doing a story on the EPA and their new rules. You said you didn't replace your tanks, you actually just made some modifications to them. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we used to have the diesel tank and they're leaking, so we stopped using for 2 years, and now they just dig it out and put a new tank and upgrade on the pipe. All the pipe have to be the fiberglass and copper like a 2-line, something like that.
Right, you showed me that around the side. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And then you want to talk about this here too. This is the
plastic that they have to cover that not let the gasoline is leaking by to the soil. You know, that's why they have this protection. It's a new law that they have to have this one.
And then you also said they have you put in some detectors next to the tank to where if it leaks.
Yeah, if they're leaking, they will tell us that they have leaking.
And then that alarm's inside there so that you know.
Yes.
And then you also had to. What did you have to do with the soil? Like when you dug this up, you couldn't just go dump the soil anywhere.
They put over there and get a sample and go to exam. I think that they take about 3 days. And they said everything's okay, so they take it out.
Then you can just go dump it anywhere.
Yes.
I see. And you said the price of this, of just upgrading with one tank replacement and then upgrading all the pipes was about how much?
$65,000.
$65,000. And but you were lucky. You were able to keep the same pumps and everything right here, weren't you?
Yes.
So that was.
But we
good.
add more too. This why we usually only have 3 of them. Now we have 4.
And how long did the whole thing take?
15 days.
15 days. So that, of course, that whole time you weren't able to sell gasoline or anything.
No.
Did you stay open and go ahead and sell through the convenience store?
We open because a lot of crew they have to walk in and use the garage.
Oh, okay.
And somebody have to in there and watching. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Shai. Thank you very much. We're just going to film that little spot over there and then probably film that shutdown station next door. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, some people were able to upgrade their tanks. We stopped here at a station owned by a gentleman named Chai. Now, while he was able to upgrade his tanks, he could only do so at considerable expense.
10 days ago, they showed up with these machines, and they said that they were going to pump the gas out. They pumped the gas out, and then they came in with no warning, told me I was in violation of my lease because I owed them some money for the rent, which I didn't, you know. It was a bookkeeping error, and they never straightened that out, so I wouldn't be able to sue them. So anyway, they proceeded to Sunday and Monday dig the tanks up, and it was a mess. It was terrible. It stunk, and the guys that doing it were really nice people, but they hated it. It was just a job, and more or less put me out of business.
And so now I know you had said that because you didn't own this property, you actually leased it and ran the gas station and whatnot. You don't know about the price, but without the gas pumps, you say you're going to have to shut down.
Well, yeah, I only made, yesterday I only made $60-something all day. I used to make a lot more. And you know, I leased it 1st September. I showed profit every month. I made money. There's a lot of people that live out here that are used to this store being here. It's been here for 28 years. And people sure will come buy things, but without the gas, You know, that's your calling card. But they did it without any warning, without at all. It was a big shock. My husband got sick. I'm sick now. I almost had a nervous breakdown, and I said it wasn't worth it. You know.
Because you were told by the landlords that there was no problem.
Tied up in court for 5 or 10 years. Well, nobody could have tied it up in court. You know. And they were quoted a price that was more than they could afford to relocate the tanks over there, which is closer to that road than this was. But I think 12 inches or 12 feet, whatever, the pumps were on state property. There was a waiver done 28 years ago, and they all of a sudden couldn't find it. But why they waited to the last minute, I don't know.
But you say you personally had only been here since about September?
Yeah, I know. I signed a lease, and there was nothing in it about this happening. Nothing. I was told by the woman, Sharon Norris is her name. She lives in Lakeway, is her game. That their lawyers would fight it, for me not to worry about it, to go. And so I put all my energy into this place. You know, I've done a lot of things in my life. I did the Armadillo Kitchen. I've done lots of restaurants. Yada. And I just feel like, you know, I got taken to the cleaners. I was used, and they wanted to pump. Then they lowered the price to 81 cents about a month ago, just to pump as much gas through here as they could. The company I leased from is called FFP. It's out of Fort Worth. They only have 200 stations. I do have the president of Conoco's address and stuff, and once he realizes that their signs up there, 'cause these people just sell gas to whoever. If his signs up there, he's going to be very upset. You know?
So in other words, they had Conoco signs up here, but they weren't selling Conoco fuel.
No, they sold FINA gas. I mean, the way I understand it, they're called jobbers, like FFP is. They sell gas to FINA, to Texaco, to da-da-da. It isn't Conoco gas per se. It's just their sign.
Okay. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time.
Sure.
I'm glad to have talked to you. I'm sorry under these circumstances, but it's certainly nice
it's been a shock, but I'll live. I'll get over it, you know.
Well, that's good. You got a good attitude
about it.
about
And if I stay, yeah, you know, I was really mad at first. I mean, my blood pressure was like stroke level, you know. But I'll get used to it, you know. And maybe somebody will come in and they'll renege it on their lease, you know.
It's definitely the right attitude.
It was made my Christmas terrible. You know. I felt sorry for the guys doing it. The weather got so terrible at the end.
Oh, I know. I saw because there was a here.
I'd come up here and let them in, warm up and stuff. You know, it's polite and nice. You know, it's the only way to be. It's just a shame there's a lot of people that have a lot more years involved.
We've talked to people. There's one at the Y in Oak Hill that we're getting ready to go show. They were in business 22 years. Right there at the Y. I mean, I can't explain it. Just
crossing the HEB, that little Texas.
Just kind of, yep.
With the car
They were in business 22 years.
They
shut down.
The highway wider there. Here, they would never build the highway up here.
No.
Come on, you know.
No.
But they're lawyers, isn't it?
Yeah, they have that morphing technology now where they can do that. We can't do it.
This is Mike Hanson, your old Facebook buddy and your YouTube buddy. We got a new Facebook page, Hanson Archives, Hanson Archives. And our older one that has a lot of, be sure to subscribe down there is what we need. We got about 20,000 on Mike Hanson Archives, but we started a new one, Hanson Archives, for all the good old classics, Alex Jones, Jeff Davis, Steve Lane, George Humphrey, Chris Ritter, Jimmy Ritter, all the good old people that you used to see on ACTV. The tapes are 20 to 25 years old, and I'm trying to preserve them. We have hired somebody to and bought all the equipment to transfer them over, get them edited down to some kind of sense, because they were live shows and raw footage of different things that we've been involved in. So be sure to subscribe down there to Hanson Archives. We got a new one coming up, Waco Archives. It's going to be all the Waco stuff that we've done. So if you would like to help out, I'm offering a special. Send $25 to 901 St. Joseph. She's going to put the address up here. Gonzales, Texas, 78629, and we'll send you a signed copy of my book, Bohemian Grove, Cult of Conspiracy. If you'd like to use a credit card, be sure to call us at 830-672-3089. Just leave a message or talk to a live person there when they're open, and we'll get you one sent out ASAP. Alrighty, thanks a lot and God bless. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you. God bless. You're on.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Smith, and I love Mike Hanson Archives. Check it out.
And Hanson Archives.
And Hanson Archives?
Yeah, I got 3 YouTube channels.
Give them all to me. I'll do it on rapid fire them.
God bless you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, that's it. All right, who wants the leader? Let James go. Go ahead. Yes, sir. All right. God bless the Republic.